A front will pass through the region overnight, increasing downpours, some of which could cause flash flooding.
As severe weather season picks up, a lot of people have creative ways to rig their car to be safe from hail. But a Texas man may have the ultimate solution.
And new information in an officer-involved shooting involving who fired and who didn't.
Good evening, everyone. We are on Storm Watch tonight at 10.
Let's send it straight over to Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon for when these storms will be moving through the area. Albert?
Okay, these storms have been delayed. This frontal boundary has slowed down just a bit, but we still have high chances of rain, some of which will be on the strong side overnight. We're watching thunderstorms that have turned severe north of the area, approaching Fort Hood. This could be making its way into Williamson County later on tonight, and already our own severe weather to worry about. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the city of Llano and much of Llano County until 10:45. This thunderstorm has been slow to progress off to the east at times 10 to 15 miles per hour. And our main concern right now for the city of Llano will be hail. Quarter in size, if not a little bit bigger. This thunderstorm has had the history of reporting ping pong size hail when it was out here in far eastern areas of Mason County. Mason County, parts of which have picked up over 3 inches of rainfall just in the last couple of hours. An additional 3 inches will be possible, so flash flooding likely over parts of Mason County. A flash flood warning in effect for Mason County until 12:30. Here's the frontal boundary. It's still up here towards the north. It hasn't moved much since the 6 o'clock newscast, but it is progressing to the south. And as it does so, our risk of flash flooding will go up in the overnight. So that's why this flash flood watch in effect until 7 a.m. The severe thunderstorm watch in effect until the top of the hour. The Weather Service says that could be extended into the overnight hours. Much more to get to with your hour-by-hour forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Albert. And Governor Greg Abbott wants the state to be ready when severe weather breaks out. He put the State Operations Center on standby, so they are ready to deploy state resources if they're needed.
Don't get caught unprepared in severe weather. You can follow up to-the-date weather information by downloading the KVUE app. It's free in the App Store.
The San Bernardino school where today's deadly shooting took place will remain closed for the next few days. Just after 12:30 Central Time, a 53-year-old man opened fire in a classroom, shooting and killing his estranged wife, a special needs teacher, before turning the gun on himself. 2 students were hit in the gunfire. One of them, an 8-year-old boy, later died in the hospital. Teachers and students quickly evacuated to a nearby campus, and parents rushed to reunite with their children.
I'm a mom, and I feel bad for, the kids that have to go through all this, because they're all the kids are the innocent ones.
Authorities say the couple had not been married long, adding the other injured student is, quote, in stable condition.
2 schools investigating threats over social media tonight. At Bailey Middle School, police arrested a student over a reported threat. Classes went on today as usual. The principal sent a letter to parents about that incident. And up north a little ways, Leander ISD says it's working with authorities after an alleged threat against Vandergrift High School. But police say there was no credible threat.
An update now on Austin's 3rd officer-involved shooting of the year. Austin police say the suspect did point a gun at officers but did not fire in the incident on Parliament Drive early Saturday morning. Family members tell us 31-year-old Lawrence Parrish is still in the hospital recovering from gunshot wounds tonight. APD confirms 4 officers are on administrative leave after firing their weapons at Parrish, which is standard procedure. This is the exact model of gun Parrish pointed at police after he barricaded himself in a home near 183 and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Police say the officers' bullets were all fired in less than 2 seconds.
The officers immediately fell to the ground after the shots as well. So perception in those seconds when something like this is unfolding and you're in a critical incident, sometimes perceptions are not always 100% accurate.
Chief Manley adds dashcam video did not capture Parrish's front door, but all of the audio from the incident was recorded. Parrish will likely face aggravated assault against a public servant charges.
Once again, a judge has said Texas voter ID law intentionally discriminated against minorities. The law required voters to show one of 7 forms of photo ID at the ballot box. A court forced the state to change those rules for the presidential election last November. And today, a U.S. district judge in Corpus Christi reaffirmed her earlier conclusion, saying the law amounted to a poll tax meant to suppress minority voters. A little more information for you. Only 6 other states have strict photo ID laws. This past presidential election, the voter ID law and the exceptions to it caused a lot of confusion at the polls. The Texas Civil Rights Project even made a PSA about how the rules work after receiving more than 600 calls that voters were turned away. According to our partners at the Statesman, there are 2 bills going through the Texas legislature that would loosen the rules of the current law. Alabama Governor Robert Bentley is no longer in office. The politician resigned today amid a highly publicized sex scandal. He also booked himself into the local jail on 2 misdemeanor campaign finance charges. Earlier today, state lawmakers had begun impeachment proceedings. They accused the former governor of using state resources to hide an affair with his top aide. Lieutenant Governor KVUE was sworn in this evening to replace him.
A local school district facing an unsavory proposition tonight: how to handle almost $1 million cut from their state funding without cutting jobs. The Night Beat's Jason Puckett joins us now from Blanco County with the latest.
Well, Quita and Mike, last week the initial answer that came out here at Blanco Elementary School was that up to 17 jobs could be cut from the county. If those were all teachers, that would be almost 20% of the educators here in this county, and the community was not happy with that answer. They reached out, the Board of Education agreed with them, and right now they are in closed session seeing how they can possibly come up with the funds to lower the number of cuts that are necessary. So how did this all happen? Well, it starts with 2 bills in the state legislature. The first in 2006 cut property taxes but put in place a program to make sure schools wouldn't lose their funding. Well, in 2011, the legislature voted to repeal that program. While some districts have grown to offset that funding, others rely on it, especially in areas like Blanco County, where the district has been working with a negative budget for 2 years now. And this is unfortunately really just one of the battles that the school district is facing. They also spoke tonight about how difficult it is to find funding for important teaching improvement and development, a problem the school board says they are focused on fixing tonight. We will, of course, bring you the update of what comes out of this closed session tonight on KVUE.com. Make sure you check in. For now, though, here live in Blanco County, I'm Jason Puckett, KVUE News, Night Beat.
The state's initiative to get people to pay child support is paying off, according to the Texas Attorney General's office. Attorney General Ken Paxton first introduced this program last year. It keeps parents from renewing their vehicle at the DMV if they're at least 6 months behind on child support payments. So far, it's raised more than $1 million. The AG's office says parents don't need to pay the full amount they owe right away. Just sign up for a payment plan.
We're wanting parents to pay what they owe and support their children. We don't want to take away their transportation.
Opponents, however, aren't convinced. They argue if parents can't drive, it will be much harder for them to get to work and then to pay child support.